Hello and welcome back to another speed build. Today we're going to be building with the Crystal Creations stuff pack, and I decided to do a tiny home just because I wanted to build with the new stuff pack, which means I had to wait until the day before I usually post videos to build something with it. And because I started this kind of late, I didn't want to do a huge build and all that. So we're making a little tiny home, which is actually kind of works out because there's not that many items in Crystal Creations. So I was able to kind of use pretty much everything. I didn't use a few of the clutter pieces because this house is so small. But yeah, I used a lot of the items and there wasn't any need for repeating them, which I thought worked nicely. And here we're working on the shape of the build a little bit. I was trying to get that wallpaper to work with that little bump out so that the edges would show. However, the way I had it built, it wasn't going to work. And I end up picking like an accent wallpaper anyways for the bump outs, so it kind of works out. And I think here is where I'm actually picking out that wallpaper. I end up going with the cats and dogs light blue like shingles, and I think it looks really pretty actually. And because I went for a cooler tone, I end up switching to like a grayer brick. And you'll notice once we get inside and start decorating that I kind of did a different jewel tone for each room. This house is a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom house with an office. So the bathroom is just white, but with like a light blue. But the main area, I tried to incorporate like a jewel green jade tone. The bedroom is purple with a hint of blue. And then I did a nice blue jewel tone in the office, like gem cutting workspace. And you'll see that in a second. But here I am fiddling with the windows. I used a lot of Realm of Magic, so I was trying to use the windows from that, and it was a little difficult, but I think it ends up looking okay in the end. This probably isn't my favorite build I've ever done, but I think the interior is pretty nice. I really just didn't make the exterior super fancy because I was on a time crunch, and honestly, I was more excited and inspired by the interior items anyways, and that's kind of what this build is for, to show off all the new items and just to play around with them, and I thought I'd just share that with you. I don't think this house is too expensive either. I'm not really sure how expensive it is or how much it costs, but it's probably not a starter home, but I don't think it's like crazy expensive either. And I actually went for a gray wood floor, which I feel like I normally don't do. However, I thought it looked nice with the wallpapers. And it takes me a minute to figure out the door placing as well. I didn't do filler furniture in this house. I think because I just kind of had an eye for it, and it looked like everything would fit fine, so I didn't bother with filler furniture. And I ended up using the Vampire's Kitchen set because it has that nice green color, and I think it turned out really, really pretty. I do make the kitchen a tad bit bigger just because I wanted to make that little bump out on the right there for the fireplace, and I wanted it to fit like perfectly in that little nook, so I end up shrinking it, which in turn makes the kitchen a tile bigger, which I think was nice. Now this was the closest green chair I could find that matched the vampire set, and I don't think it's too off that it's super glaring and noticeable. And I do end up changing that table to be bigger. And I was also playing around with the layout for the living area with the couches and everything. I didn't really know how I wanted to do it, but I ended up doing this kind of layout with the fireplace and a little table behind it. And I put some of the new clutter on there. There's a really pretty like terrarium that we'll probably see soon. And it has like this crystal tower in it, and it's just so pretty. I actually have a crystal tower, and they are gorgeous. So I love that they created that. I think it's so pretty, and I'm probably going to use it like everywhere. And here I've changed the table like I said I would. I think it ends up being a little off center from the door, maybe not. We also got this beautiful bookcase. I ended up only using one of them. We have a second variant that actually has a ladder on it, which I am obsessed with, and I can't wait to make like a library room in a house and use that variant with the ladder. I think it's going to be absolutely incredible. And I think just finishing up the living area. Yeah, we've got a cute little entry. Again, I'm seeing pretty much all Realm of Magic with the Crystal Creations pack. And here's that little clutter item I was talking about in that octagonal box. And there's a cute little like oil lamp candle next to it. And I end up finding, when I was looking for things to put on the fireplace, I end up finding this item from, I want to say Werewolves. And it's like this little fungi set in like a similar looking octagonal like compact, and it's really pretty, so I end up adding that on that little bench by the window as well. I wanted to use the coffee table that came in this pack, but I just didn't have the space. Oh, and here it is. Here's the little compact that I was talking about. And I was struggling to figure out what to put on the fireplace, so I think I ended up just putting a plant and calling it a day. And I think that might be almost wrapping up the living space. I think I add a few clutter items to the kitchen. I originally wasn't going to clutter it because we only had the one free counter, but since we added a counter, I was able to add a little bit of clutter. Now I'm just working in the bathroom super quickly, very simple. It still fits the vibes and everything, but like with that beautiful mirror that I just added, I love it. It's so pretty. But it is a very simple bathroom. Nothing too crazy. And you probably saw I end up using, I think it's from Werewolves, that mirror with like the crystals on it. In like shelving, and I think that is absolutely beautiful. So I knew when I saw that I had to use it. And I had to use this bed as well. It's my favorite variant of that bed from Realm of Magic, and it fit with the wallpaper like perfectly in my opinion. And you can see that it does have a little bit of blue in the stained glass on the bed. So that's kind of where I tie in some of the blue that I have on the curtains and the rug. I think I did a blue rug. I guess we'll find out. I also added the little cow plant in a terrarium as well. I don't know, I just thought that was fun. And here you can see some of the clutter items. We actually have like a jewelry tray. And there's another like jewelry box that we got as well, which I think is super nice. And I was looking for a rug and I didn't really find anything. So I ended up just going for the plain circle rug. In that light blue, again, to tie in the blue in the stained glass. And I use those fancy lamps because those gems or the crystals in it kind of hover. And I thought that was kind of cool. And this is like potentially a spellcaster's home, so I thought that kind of worked. Here we are doing the little office workspace where they're gonna like craft the gems. That is actually the new crafting table. So I don't have a regular desk in this house because there just wasn't really space. But they do have the desk where they can make the jewelry and shape the gems. And I think that's it for the interior. Lastly, I'm adding a few trees, a few bushes, and that's pretty much it. I am going to insert a photo at the end here of the interior layout. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed the speed build, and I will see you all next week. Alright, bye!